In its unwavering resolve to achieve a robust implementation of policies that would generate growth and employment, objectives that are themselves in line with the discharge of its core mandates, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, recently unveiled a new intervention initiative called the 100 for 100 Policy on Production and Productivity, also known as CBN 100 for 100 PPP. Good evening. My name is Chinemerem Joseph, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's edition of the program. The CBN 100 for 100 Policy on Production and Productivity is designed to create the flow of finance and investments to enterprises with potential to regenerate a sustainable economic growth trajectory, accelerate structural transformation, promote diversification, and improve productivity in the country. As indicated by its name, the policy will ensure that targeted credit of up to 5 billion naira is provided to 100 firms every 100 days. The policy was officially unveiled at an impressive ceremony which took place inside the auditorium of the headquarters complex of the Central Bank of Nigeria in Abuja, the federal capital. At the event, further insight was provided on why the 100 for 100 policy was introduced by the CBN, the criteria for eligibility for the firms interested in participating in the program, and how transparency was made a key watchword in evaluating the applications submitted by interested participants. Also emphasized at the event was the fact that the facilities to be disbursed under the scheme are loans which are meant to be repaid rather than grants giving out free without expectation of repayment. The unveiling of the CBN 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity was witnessed by you and the economy, and here now is our report.
The 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity is an intervention of the Central Bank of Nigeria designed to create the flow of finance and investment to enterprises with potential to kickstart a sustainable economic growth trajectory, accelerate structural transformation, promote diversification, and improve productivity in the country. Also known as CBN PPP, the initiative is equally geared to support private sector companies in order to reduce certain imports, increase non-oil exports, and improve the foreign exchange generating capacity of the economy. As its name tag implies, the core objective of the policy is to boost production and productivity, which will aid the efforts to stimulate increased growth of Nigeria's economy and create more employment opportunities. The 100 for 100 initiative was structured to screen eligible companies in priority sectors of the economy at intervals of 100 days, with a view to selecting 100 successful ones among them to receive funding from the CBN. The cycle is repeated and continues with the selection and subsequent announcement of a fresh set of beneficiary companies every 100 days. The details of these beneficiary companies will be published in major national daily newspapers to ensure transparency. Beneficiaries will have access to cheaper forms of credit at single-digit rates, as well as foreign exchange to procure plants and machineries. To participate in the program, eligible applicants must sign up to affirm their readiness to invest the facility to be obtained under the scheme in projects that are previously largely undeveloped, otherwise referred to as greenfield projects. They are also required to submit their applications to their banks, after which a notification is submitted on a dedicated portal, which has been created to ensure transparency and allow applicants track the status of their applications. For its first cycle of evaluation, which ended on the 31st of January 2022, a total number of 243 applications valued at 321.06 billion naira were submitted on the dedicated portal for consideration. These applications were in respect of businesses spread across key sectors such as agriculture, energy, healthcare, manufacturing, and services. After a thorough and transparent evaluation process, a total number of 79 applications valued at 121.87 billion naira were eventually received by the CBN from the deposit money banks, playing the role of participating financial institutions in the program. The applications covered projects in 6 sectors of the economy, namely agriculture, energy, healthcare, manufacturing, mining, and services sectors. The 79 applications that made it to the CBN from the deposit banks emerged after 243 requests submitted were thoroughly screened and elaborately scrutinized against well laid out selection criteria under the following parameters: production efficiency and scalability, local content capacity, especially that the capacity of intending beneficiaries to source raw materials locally be very high and import content to be very, very low, or indeed close to zero. Job creation and human capital development, particularly that intending beneficiaries should be able to generate significant employment opportunities in critical sectors of the Nigerian economy. Operating sector relevance and potential contribution to economic growth with ability to produce goods for the export market being an added advantage. Following due rigorous and intensive screening, 28 companies with projects that were backed up with clearly articulated proposals were finally selected by the CBN from the initial shortlisted 79 applicants for funding. The 28 projects, which are valued at 23.20 billion naira, comprise 14 in the manufacturing sector, 12 in the agricultural sector, and 2 in the healthcare sector. 5 of the selected projects are greenfield projects seeking to exploit a plethora of huge and diverse new opportunities in key sectors of the Nigerian economy. When all the 28 projects selected are fully operational, they are expected to create over 20,000 direct and indirect jobs across multiple sectors of the economy, as well as generate close to $125.80 million in foreign exchange earnings. Inaugurating the CBN 100 for 100 policy, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele described the event as a fulfillment of the commitment made by the Apex Bank at the launch of Nigeria's first ever central bank digital currency, the e-Naira, by President Muhammadu Buhari in October 2021, that the policy will be launched soon. Emefiele described the CBN PPP as one of the efforts of the administration of President Buhari at reducing Nigeria's over-reliance on imports for food and industrial raw materials to make the country self-sufficient and self-reliant in those critical areas, and also realize the President's mantra that Nigerians produce what they eat and eat what they produce.
In line with the administration's policy focus to stimulate domestic production and productivity, the CBN has continued to introduce various policy measures in the form of interventions to stimulate low-cost and sustainable financing to priority sectors and segments of the economy. The 100 for 100 policy for production and productivity is one of such interventions designed to fast-track productive activities in priority sectors. This program has the potential to significantly accelerate manufacturing output, promote further diversification of our economy, and enable faster growth of our non-oil exports. More specifically, the PPP will help to reduce our over-reliance on imports and stimulate productivity in agriculture, in healthcare, manufacturing, extractive industries, logistics services, trade-related infrastructure, and renewable energy.
In his admonition to the pioneer beneficiaries of the CBN 100 for 100 policy, Governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, urged them to judiciously use the funds for the purpose which they had indicated in their application. Reaffirming that the CBN is strongly committed to transparency in the implementation of the policy, Emefiele revealed that independent monitors and evaluators will be engaged to regularly follow up on the progress of the program, adding that a key focus of the monitoring and evaluation visits will be an assessment of the socio-economic impact of the financed projects on the immediate community and the Nigerian economy in general. Goodwill messages were also delivered at the event. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Boss Mustafa, whose message was delivered by Dr. Habiba Lawal, Permanent Secretary, Ecological Projects, Office of the SGF, commended the CBN Governor for conceiving the bank's 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity. Boss Mustafa urged all beneficiaries and other critical stakeholders to maximally utilize the opportunity offered by the policy to give the Nigerian economy a breath of fresh air. Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, congratulated the CBN Governor as well as the management and staff of the Apex Bank for introducing the 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity. He described the initiative as a milestone that is in tandem with the policy of the administration of President Buhari on job creation, adding that it has further demonstrated the CBN's unflagging commitment to spearheading the effort to spur productivity and the wheel of progress of the country. The Minister of Labour disagreed vehemently with the views being expressed in some quarters that the CBN was operating outside the confines of its mandate by intervening in non-monetary policy-related areas of the economy, adding that for the Nigerian economy to grow and develop, the CBN should also be interested in what goes on in the fiscal policy arm of the economy, the same way it is in monetary policy. Dr. Ngige urged the pioneer beneficiaries of the program to take full advantage of the concessionary single-digit interest rate of its loan facilities by hitting the ground running and help actualize the goals of the funds provided to them.
Given the challenges of our high unemployment rate in Nigeria, we have no choice than to embrace productivity stimulating programs. I watch some people say, oh, Governor of Central Bank is doing work of Agriculture Minister. He is doing work of this, he is doing that of that. And they say, oh, he should confine himself to monetary and not fiscal. I say, well, monetary and fiscal are like twins. If you feed one only and leave the other one will die. And when the other one die, especially the Siamese, you can have problems with Siamese twins. So we know that if we don't have a central bank that is playing center forward today and even doing goalkeeping at the same time, this country will die. So I don't know when you will be speaking the grammar of fiscal and monetary when everything has collapsed.
The President, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, Mansour Ahmed urged members of MAN and indeed all stakeholders to collaborate and cooperate with the CBN to achieve the desired results of the policy. He pledged the commitment of MAN to working with both the CBN governor and indeed the Apex Bank and other financial service sector stakeholders to make the 100-400 policy a veritable success. Mansour noted that even as the policy was primarily geared to encourage new investments, it will equally encourage capacity development in existing investments, noting that this will not only accelerate the achievement of the primary objectives of the policy, but it will also broaden the base of participation in it by stakeholders. The chairman, Body of Bank's Chief Executive Officers, Herbert Nwigwe, who is the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank PLC, also spoke at the event. Nwigwe pledged that the nation's banking community will lend its robust support to ensure the success of the policy. Adedolakpo Adeyemi represented Harvest Food and Agro-Processing Limited, a company that processes cassava into starch and one of the pioneer beneficiaries of the CBN 100-400 policy. Speaking on behalf of his colleagues, Adeyemi promised that beneficiaries of the scheme will take advantage of it to elevate Nigeria's real sector to much greater heights. Part of the highlight of the unveiling of the CBN 100-400 policy on production and productivity was the presentation of symbolic checks to the 7 participating financial institutions whose customers were selected as pioneer beneficiaries under the PPP's first cycle. Here now is the breakdown of the total sum of 23.2 billion naira disbursed as loans to pioneer beneficiaries by the CBN under the first cycle of its 100-400 policy through the participating financial institutions that process the applications of those beneficiaries. At an interaction by CBN Governor Emefiele with the media at the end of the ceremony, anchor of You and the Economy, Chinemerem Joseph asked the Apex Bank's chief why only 28 out of the 238 applications submitted by interested beneficiaries were approved to pioneer the program, wondering if the CBN had been too stringent in the evaluation of applications received, which probably constrained its ability to meet up with its projected target of 100 beneficiaries for each cycle of the program.
What that means to me is that these people have really gone through some crucible to come to this level where they are benefiting. And that's also the reason I said that for those who may not have been successful at this first tranche, they should let us have their thoughts so that we can think of how best to further review this program to ensure that more people benefit from it. So we will try as much as possible to accommodate everybody. I can sort of understand that the reason only people qualify for this first tranche is that there are certain things or certain documentation that every other person may not have brought forward. We will review all those applications again and see how more and more people can, because we truly and genuinely think that this program will help Nigerians. We believe it will help the Nigerian small and medium and large corporates. And we think we are committed to it because we think that it is only one way through which we can truly grow this economy. It is only one way through which we can create jobs for our people. It is only one way through which we can reduce imports, stimulate exports for the good of our people and the good of the country.
Yila Yusuf, the Director, Development Finance Department of the CBN, whose department superintends the intervention programs of the CBN in the economy, was asked by the media to shed further light on the workings of the CBN 100 for 100 policy.
Just to clarify, essentially what we're saying is that we'll do a maximum of 100 companies in under 100 days. So whilst we have over 300 and the numbers keep growing, we'll continue to evaluate them. The intent is to ensure that indeed these companies that get these monies really want to use them to improve productivity. We want to see companies that indeed quickly can utilize these funds to improve our productivity.
You and the economy also spoke with some of the pioneer beneficiaries of the CBN 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity.
The facility we are getting today, that we are getting today, is going to create an add-on process to our manufacturing sector, in the sense that the plant we put in to buy is actually for waste products from cassava. We found out that some of the starch we are producing goes out through the waste. So by buying this equipment, it's going to assist our business. It's going to assist our starch production by 2 or 3%. Starch going out as waste now. We are going to gain more. We are going to be changing waste to wealth now, because those things used to be like waste products, but now we are processing them into small bags. It can be used to feed livestock. It can be used to feed ram. Basically, animal feed is what we are going to produce from it, and it will have effect on the environment, on the community, on the people, because we are going to employ about 300 people, 300 staff to manage the manufacturing facility.
I want to thank Governor Emefiele. I submitted this application without knowing anybody in the central bank. I don't know him. I didn't ask anybody, and I just saw in the portal, accepted. Your project is accepted. I have confidence in the central bank. The central bank has given a directive to all milk producers, importers, to start producing milk in Nigeria. One of them, Chi Limited, when they noted what we are doing, we went into a joint venture. So under our joint venture now, we are going to produce the cows that will produce the milk, and we rear them to produce the milk in Nigeria. And we are going to process the milk in Nigeria. Except machinery to build dams and maybe some cutting machines, we are importing nothing. We have developed our own local pasture from our local grasses that give 18% protein to our cows. The foreign pastures, they give 12-15%. So in the livestock industry, it's an area where brain and money needs to campaign and need to come together. And we have developed the brain. We are going to work hard to sustain it, and I thank the central bank for providing the other part. And I want to tell you and all Nigerians that we must know that these policies of the central bank are not a joke.
The 100 for 100 policy has certainly been set on an irreversible course, as the next cycle of submission of applications for the program has already started on 1st of February 2022 and will end on April 30, 2022.
You're welcome back. There is no doubt that the CBN 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity is a carefully thought out scheme introduced to help catalyze significant growth in critical sectors of the Nigerian economy. It is obvious that the initiative will aid the efforts to create more employment opportunities and reduce the country's dependence on imported goods. But as you have heard, the funds to be disbursed under the program are no freebies, as they are not being provided as grants. Rather, they will be approved as loans that must be repaid. It is equally important to note that compliance with the terms of the program will be enforced through routine audits of the books of beneficiary firms and establishments. For additional information on the CBN 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity, as well as further details on other intervention programs and policies of the CBN, please log on to the CBN website. It's on www.cbn.gov.ng. Or you can call the CBN Contact Center on 0700-225-5226 for further information. You and the economy shall be tracking the implementation of the CBN 100 for 100 policy, especially how the beneficiaries are disbursing the facilities obtained under the program. We now call it a day on today's edition of the program. Please to join us again, same time next week, when we shall examine another important subject on you and the economy. Until then, it's goodbye.